Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Diana Lipari. I am now the acting chair of the select board. Noting the time at 12:01 and the presence of a quorum, I'm going to call the roll. John Markowitz. John, you're muted.
Markowitz present.
Les Fox.
Present.
And Wes Pope.
Present.
Great. Okay. So now I move to enter into executive session to discuss strategies with respect to collective bargaining per MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21. First, for dispatch, fire, and police. And as I do chair, and as I so declare as chair, a discussion in open meeting will have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the town. And secondly, to conduct strategy session or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, interim chief of police, per MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A2. Do I have a second? Okay, roll call. John?
Markowitz, aye.
Les?
Fox, aye.
Wes?
Fox, aye.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll return after executive session. Everyone here? Because I don't see Wes is here. I don't see them up top. Okay, everybody is here. Is John Markowitz here? Yes, he is. Okay. John is muted, so I'm assuming he's been made a co-host. Okay, we're back in open session. And before we start with the first item of the agenda, I want to address something which I happened to see on social media where people were, and I got an email about this as well, which I responded to this morning. It is never the intention of this board to not allow public comment. What was not on the agenda was citizens' concerns. And I just want people to understand that citizens' concerns are meant for items which are not on the agenda. I responded actually on November 8th to a board member who had a concern about it. And I said on November 8th, right after the agenda was posted, I think that it's not appropriate for this meeting, referring to citizens' concerns, since this is not a regularly scheduled meeting. And I actually thought it was going to be relatively short. The public will have ample opportunity to weigh in on the agenda items. See you Thursday. So when we get to the agenda items, I will accept comment on those after the comments from the board. So the very first item that we have on the agenda is the resignation of Jennifer Campbell, not only as chair of the board, but as a member of this board. And so we have a motion for that. And then I'd like to say something and if there's anything that other members of the board would like to say, I certainly want to give you that opportunity. So based on this particular motion, I move to accept with great regret the resignation of Jennifer Campbell from the select board and to thank her for her selfless and dedicated service to the community. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. So just a quick discussion about this. Anybody have anything to say on the board at this point?
I think I just want to say that I really appreciate all the hard work that Jennifer put into this. She was a calming influence for the board, helped pull us all together. And I know that was a very difficult decision for her. And I'm not sure if we want to read the letter that she wrote to us, because I think she makes a lot of very good points in that letter.
Well, it is part of the packet, and I would ask people to read it. I am very concerned about it. I was very upset about hearing her resignation. In that letter, she makes it very clear that it was not anything to do with what we were talking about. It's nothing to do with the board. It's nothing to do with individual board members, but she discusses comments and attitudes from the public at large and other board members. And she included, and I don't have the exact words in front of me, but yelling and denigrating and so on and so forth. It is just not acceptable in this town to bully people. I understand people are very passionate. I'm very passionate in my comments, but when it gets to a level of consistent bullying, such that it results in the loss of a very valuable town volunteer whose input on this board was invaluable, and she was an excellent chair, and it was extremely upsetting to me. And her point in her letter was that people need to reevaluate how they treat each other. And I think that's true for us all, that we take a look at our behavior and how we respond to issues that come before the town. We are all, working towards a common goal. And so let's try to keep our discourse civil. Does anybody else have any other comments?
Yeah, I spoke to Jennifer actually on the Friday that we learned about her resignation from the select board. And I guess the way I would summarize it is that she was upset most of all by the tenor of the conversations that are going on in general and back and forth between her and certain people that reached out to her to provide her input. And I guess my observation is that it would be good for everyone to remember that when they're communicating with a board member, any board, that you should imagine that you're actually in front of town meeting with giving that input and be responsible for your words. It doesn't go well if you, throw rocks from behind a stone wall. So it behooves us all to make sure that we're having, polite and respectful conversations with people. You may be passionate about things. You may disagree with things that this board or anyone does, but keep it civil. Apparently, there was a lot of incivility in what she perceived coming from various folks, and that is what drove her to this very extreme measure to resign. And by the way, I told her I might say this, and she was fine with that, in case anyone's wondering.
Yeah. Okay. Steve Ballard, is this concerning this particular issue? Your comment? You have your hand raised.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I just wanted to briefly say that I appreciate the service to the town of Jen, and I'm sorry to hear this. And I just wanted that to be heard. I hope she hears that. And she has been, a very positive force from what I understand on the board, and I appreciate her service to us. That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Diana, the only thing I want to say is this is a tremendous loss for the town.
I completely agree, John. So I made the motion. We have it seconded. I'm going to do a roll call vote. John?
Markowitz, aye.
Les?
Fox eye.
Wes?
Okay.
And Lepari, aye. Okay, now we're moving on to the reorganization of the board. Do I have a motion? I move to nominate as chair of the select board for term ending with the election of May 2023. Do I have such a motion? And insert a name.
I'll move to nominate Diana Lepari as the chair of the select board for a term ending with the election in May 2023.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Maria, do you want to make a comment? Okay.
It's just a process comment. You can't end it with the election, because on the election day, you need to end it
At the meeting following.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Otherwise, you lose your chair that day.
Thank you. I'll
Thank you.
amend my motion to nominate until the end of the meeting following the election.
In May of 2023.
Yep.
Okay. Do you accept that amendment, John?
Well,
Yes, I do.
it's actually until
It's actually
a
town
new
meeting.
person
isn't it?
is sworn in.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Thank you for that procedural correction, Maria. Okay, roll call vote. Wes,
folks, aye.
Les,
Fox eye.
John,
Markowitz, aye.
and Lapari. Aye. Thank you very much. Now we proceed to the election of the clerk, since I have vacating that position. I move to nominate Les Fox as clerk of the select board with a term ending with, again, the wording was
Until until a vacancy on the board is filled.
until the vacancy of the board is filled in May of 2023.
Second,
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, Steve, is this a comment that you want to make regarding this particular agenda item?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I would object to Les Fox's being the clerk. He's already dominating the several other committees, including the building committee, Affordable Housing Trust, and the Water Resources Committee. And he's been on the board for a long time. I know he was in the minority when we had that important vote back in October. I think it would be better to have another member serve. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Okay. Do we have a vote? Okay. Any further comments?
None.
Thank you, Les, for taking this on.
Yes, I'm going to take a
Thanks,
roll
Les.
call. Wes,
Folks, aye.
Les,
Fox eye.
John,
Markowitz, aye.
and Lapari, aye. Okay. Before we move on to the next section, I just want to say something now that I am officially chair of the select board. And I want to address something about what's been going on in the town. And I'm just going to read something to you that I just wrote down my feelings, and I just want to express them the way that I wrote them. I understand that people are frustrated about the perceived lack of transparency on the part of the select board regarding some difficult issues in town. I would be frustrated too, but please understand, the select board has to operate under the restrictions of open meeting law and concern about other legal issues. We cannot discuss allegations against employees or town volunteers in open session. Aside from possible legal ramifications for the town, it would be an invasion of a person's privacy. It's a tough situation to handle. I would ask you all to consider that we sitting on this board are residents and taxpayers just like you. We are just volunteers. I have served with other members of this board now for 1.5 years. I know that our decisions are based on the facts presented, not on personal vendettas or agendas. Please be patient with us. We are trying to do the best for the town. Okay, moving on to the next item.
Just one quick comment. I would like to just publicly apologize to Mark White. I was a little bit short with you last week, even though I could not answer your questions. And so I just wanted to apologize that I did not handle that as well as I could have.
Thank you, Wes. Since I've asked, does any other board member want to make a comment at this point? Okay, now the next action is regarding a contractor or the interim chief of police. Mike, did you want to talk about this?
Yes, I did. So this morning, I made the very difficult decision to terminate the contract with our current interim police chief. I've been on the job this week. I have taken the opportunity to meet with employees, department heads, to visit all of the public buildings, and have been thoroughly impressed with the town of Foxborough. As I look to the leadership team we have, You have tremendous potential in your department heads and in your staff. You should be very proud of that, and I'm very proud to be selected to join this team. Chief DG is certainly well qualified and credentialed and certified.
Your microphone again. Yeah, there you
Can you hear me? Can you hear me better now?
No, it sort of dropped down a little bit. I don't know. It might have something to do. Go ahead.
Test. Is that better?
That's better? Yeah, that's better.
Okay, great. Certainly, Chief DG was well qualified with plenty of experience, and that was not the question. I did make the decision to terminate his at-will contract with the town, and had given him 2 weeks' notice and placed him on administrative leave, not for cause. And that decision is based on the desire to build a management team of collaborative leaders that are working in the best interest of the town of Foxborough, its residents and employees. Looking to hire someone who I can work collaboratively with, who will provide the leadership needed to move the police department as well as the town forward. During executive session, I did make a recommendation to the board to look at the contract and give me authorization to hire Chief Shushik, and they have gone ahead and reviewed that contract. I believe that this recommendation will bring the morale of the police department up. I believe that he will bring together this team, and I am very confident in his ability to work collaboratively with the town's management team in advancing the best interests of providing public service and to the residents of the town of Foxborough.
Thank you, Mike. Do I have a motion?
So upon recommendation of the town administrator, I move to authorize the town administrator to execute the amended contract with John Sushik as interim chief of police on behalf of the town and the select board.
Have a second? Okay. Any discussion? Okay, we're going to vote. Wes?
Folks, aye.
Les?
Fox eye.
John?
Markowitz, aye.
Lepari, aye. Okay, thank you. Moving on to the next item, which is ratifying the contracts for the collective bargaining contracts for the police and dispatch. So I move to ratify the proposed collective bargaining agreement with the Mass Cops Local 200 as presented, and to submit the same to the fall town meeting for funding. And I move to ratify the proposed collective bargaining agreement with the Mass Cops Local 200A as presented, and to submit the same to the fall town meeting for funding. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion, comments from the board?
I'm just glad that we got it all in time for the town meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody.
Yes.
And not only that, it was also under the targeted numbers that we had.
Right. Okay, Larry White, are you speaking on this article?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not used to doing this. What's the status of Chief Warren Ryder? My assumption was
Excuse me, I'm sorry, but that has nothing to do with collective bargaining agreements. And
well, isn't it you're hiring a new chief? So we're just Warren Ryder doesn't exist anymore?
I'm sorry, this is about collective bargaining agreements, and that's the item that we're discussing right now. So if you have something to say about collective bargaining agreements for the town, for the police, and for the dispatch, I'll take your comments.
Well, I find it odd that we've just made believe it doesn't exist anymore. I thought that if a person was accused of something, then they would be reinstated.
I don't want to have to cut you off. I just told you that we need to just keep these discussions to the agenda items. So if you have a comment to make about the collective bargaining agreements, okay. Father Ted?
Yes, thank you. Madam Chairperson, you did not, at the end of the discussion on the chief, call for our comments, which our hands were raised. So yes, you've moved on to collective bargaining. You did not open the floor for the discussion at that point. Therefore, Mr. White and myself, who have comments on that subject, were not given the opportunity.
I'm sorry, but I did not see your hands raised. There was nothing that came up in my purview.
There were three hands raised, and now
I know, but you have to understand, I'm looking at a little screen here, so.
If I might interject.
Are you suggesting that you will not offer an opportunity for that discussion?
Well, we
if I
already
might-
ratified, excuse me.
I think Wes has a comment.
Yes, Wes, please.
So just for procedure, so when you have a motion and then it's seconded, and when the chair calls for discussion, that is, I guess, the appropriate time to raise your hand. And so effectively what happens is the chair stated at the beginning of this meeting that she intends to take comment after the board's comments are heard. And so at that time, after there were no more comments, then she went to take the vote, which was the time before the vote was taken would be the time to raise your hand. I apologize if that was not clearly communicated in that way, but.
I think I still have my hand up. So thank you. I'm well versed in parliamentary procedures as well. The hands were up. And so you're recording the session. Maybe you can rewind it and check the timing. I'm suggesting that you have people wanting to speak on that motion, on that subject, either allow it now or at the end, but we demand.
I will allow this comment on that particular item, only it's not meant to be a free-for-all, but I will allow it at the end of our agenda. Okay? Anyone else with their hand raised? Is this something that you want to talk about regarding the collective bargaining? Steve? So please put your hand down right now, Father Ted, and I will get back to you at the end after we have our last action item, item G. Steve, do you want to speak to the collective bargaining agreements? Can we unmute Steve for a second?
He's been asked to be unmuted by me a few times.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
Got it? Is he unmuted? Are you unmuted, Steve?
No, he's still muted. You can move on,
Yeah, okay. I don't know why he's, all right.
Oh, I'm here now, I think. Can you hear me?
Yes, right.
Okay,
So, do you
yeah.
want to speak to the collective bargaining agreements?
Yes, just quickly, at 11:57, before you started the meeting, I sent a point of order objection to going into executive session based on what I assumed. So I'm just going to read this, which it just should be in your email.
Is
I have a
this
point of
regarding
order.
the collective bargaining agreements?
Yes, it is. So I object to the participation of the Finance Committee Chair in the executive session regarding bargaining with unions. One, there's been no notice to the public or authorization specifically by town meeting for this. Two, this particular chair has supported, enabled, participated in, and covered up misconduct by several police officers still on the payroll and subject to 2 ongoing investigations initiated by your board. So that's why I on information and belief, she was invited again to that executive session.
Steve,
Thank
you're
you.
going off topic a little bit. I get your point, but
Yeah.
we're voting on the contracts itself.
Yeah,
So-
so I hope you had good contracts that you negotiated. I just wanted to put that on the record. That's all.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any further discussion by the board or anyone else regarding the collective bargaining agreements?
No.
Okay, let's take a vote. Wes,
Oaks, aye.
Les,
Fox eye.
John,
Markowitz, aye.
and Lepari, aye. All right, moving on. We have the BC Trust grant letter. Mike, do you want to talk about this or this particular item?
I don't have anything in front of me right now.
Okay, let me,
Okay.
yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
John. I'll do that.
So Diana, I have it here.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you, John.
Okay, and I think that the BC Trust has done a fantastic job with going after grant money, okay? So, and helping to reduce the overall cost to the town for the purchase of the Sergeant Road property. I move to accept the gift of $42,100 from the Boxborough Conservation Trust and to authorize the expenditure of the same I set forth in their letter of October 31st, 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion from the board?
Once again, kudos to the trust for doing great work on this project.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, just so we're absolutely clear, are there any comments from the public? Okay, seeing no hands raised, let's take a vote. Wes?
Folks, aye.
Les?
Fox eye.
John?
Markowitz, aye.
And Lepari, aye. Okay, the final item on our agenda is town seal lapel pins for elected officials, employees, and volunteers. Mike, take this one away.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is something that that I raised as a matter of showing, the town pride in the town of Boxborough for those who will work for the town, either as appointed or elected officials, which would include our board, committee, and commission members who are actively serving or who have served in that capacity and receive a pin, as well as our employees. It's something that I've seen done successfully in other communities. It's of a small cost, less than $3 per pin, and it's something that I've done in other towns that I've worked at. And it's a matter of wearing the town seal on your dress clothes or on your uniform, and often it sparks conversation. And I think that this town has a seal with Luther Blanchard on it that we should be very proud of. And I think that as we talk with people in other communities or are out in our own community of Foxborough, I think it generates a certain pride in our community. And so I think it might be something that we want to consider doing at a small cost to show our pride.
Right. Okay. Do we have any comments from the board right now on this before we make the motion? Wes?
I just want to say I think this is a pretty good idea, and we had discussed planting a tree in honor of the volunteers as well. So I think this kind of goes alongside of it because we also did forego our stipends to put some line item money into this budget for things of this nature. So thank you for taking that initiative.
Yeah.
I just want to hear, I don't know when that conversation about a town seal lapel pin started, but I first heard about it while we were at the reception, the meet and greet for Mike. In fact, Liz Markowitz mentioned it to me, and I said, that sounds like a good idea. But remember, if you're using a town seal, you need to get approval from this board to use the town seal for any purpose. He said, I'll do that. And so now you have it before you.
Yes.
Yep.
John?
I was just going to say that because Liz is involved, I'm going to abstain from the vote.
Okay. So
one comment, Madam Chair. Sometimes the question comes up, as far as the town clerk who actually uses the actual town seal to imprint official documents. So I did have a conversation with Becky, our town clerk. And just to make sure there was no concern there, she thought it was a wonderful idea. And there is a difference between the official town seal that we print on our official documents and the emblem of the town seal, which we could wear on a lapel pin, which we have stickers. So I just wanted to make that known to the public that there is no conflict there. And our town clerk is fully behind the idea of having these pins available if the select board should so agree.
Yep.
Okay. I move to accept the concept of the town seal lapel pin for elected officials, employees, and volunteers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
It seems to me a great idea. Thanks to Liz and her colleagues for thinking of it and bringing it forward.
Right. And any comments from the public? Okay, seeing no hands raised. Wes? The votes. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Oh, I guess not. Wes, do you have your vote?
Okay.
Les?
Fox eye.
John?
Abstain.
And Lepari, aye. Okay, so now we'll go to the end since we've reached the end of our agenda. Is there, first, before we take any further comments, is there any old business? I don't think there is. So now I'm going to entertain some comments from the public. So Larry White.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Ken.
Okay. Just going back to what I was saying. And I want to take note that Wes Folks made a very earnest apology to my brother, Mark White. I thought that was pretty good. And it sets the tone for what, should be a new, a new day in Boxborough. Because if you read the email that I sent the selectmen, I don't know if anybody bothered to read it, but, there's been a lot of mean-spirited stuff going on in this town for quite a long time. And I think it's got to end. But I don't see it ending, because here we are getting rid of yet another police chief. How can that be? This guy had a stellar career, and how could he be not appropriate for the town? How can it be that we've had 10, 12 building inspectors. We've had tax collectors. We've had, all these department heads. Why do they keep leaving? What's wrong with our town? So in the same tone that Wes Folks said, he realized that he had done something, he sets a good tone. But going back to the police chief, the former police chief, Warren Ryder, who was a respected guy in town. I assume that if there was nothing found factual to his what happened, then he would simply be reinstated. And I'm confused why that's not happening, because apparently there was no serious transgression. There was, from my understanding, there was a simple accounting error and it was corrected. So why do we keep throwing people away? How can this keep happening? If we're talking on one hand about a new day, then we just started off wrong way. We just fired another police chief. How can this be? What's going on? So if you read the email that I sent, I think it's a culture in our town to be essentially mean to people.
Okay,
and we got to cut it out.
Okay, Larry, thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Father Ted?
Madam Chair, could I make one quick comment?
Oh, yes, Wes, you wanted to say something?
It's Mike.
Mike. Oh, Mike, yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure it was clear that we have not just authorized to enter into a contract to a new permanent police chief. This is for an interim police chief. So we have, we're moving to, Chief Shoshik will be an interim police chief. So I just want to make sure that was clear.
Okay, thank you. Father Ted. Can we unmute him?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairperson. So thank you for the opportunity of opening up the discussion. Mr. Michael Johns, welcome to the new position that you hold now. I understand you came on this week on Monday. Many of the residents I heard from applauded the decision to bring you on. So welcome. And we hope that we will begin a very cooperative venture in town working with you. I appreciate that you made the comments that you made. I'm wondering, number one, I have not heard any discussion or answer as to why Chief DG was replaced, asked to leave, fired, and who this new interim chief is, why you're bringing on yet another interim chief when just a few short months ago, we heard that when Chief Ryder was suspended, Chief DG, because of his vast experience and excellent record, was the top pick for the interview process. What has changed in 6 short months? You talked about the morale. I can assure you from personal understanding and testimony and hearing from the people on the streets that the morale of the police department in Boxborough was radically improved after the terrible situation with Chief Ryder happened by Chief DG. I think we demand and deserve an explanation as to why 3 days after you ascend to this position, you were able to make such a quick decision. Madam Chairperson, thank you for your comments. Welcome to your new post that you hold, and I hope it's productive for the town. You opened your comments today with some wonderful statements about it's not acceptable in this town to allow bullying to happen, that we all need to reevaluate how we treat each other. I would suggest that I support that 100%, but I would suggest that also works the other way from our town officials to our police department, to our first call responders. When the residents of this town have an emergency, it is the first call responders that we call, police and fire. Those are the people who every single day sacrifice their safety, their lives, put it on the line in order to keep us safe. Those are the people every single day that are out on the streets keeping order, but making good relationships with our children in order for them to have a safe and healthy environment and have good role models.
Okay,
So-
Father Ted, I'm sorry to.
I'm not done.
Just,
I sent, Madam Chairperson, I sent a letter to you and to the board. My questions are a few. Number one, when and how will that email that I sent be shared with the town? I don't know the process. Could you tell me what that process is? Number one. Number two, we need definition about the actions that was taking place today with the chief. Number three, when will these town meetings again now begin happening in person so that we can have some face-to-face conversation and not hide behind the fact that we don't have the chance to speak when not permitted? And number four, when will we see some respect given to the police department, who every single day serve this community with honor and dignity and justice?
Okay, first of all, I can't answer all of your questions, but I can tell you, as far as your letter is concerned, it has been the process that we don't share those things necessarily. It is something that I actually would like to do, and I had proposed it before, so I need to take another look at that. In regards to getting back in person, we are meeting on Zoom through the end of March for this time being, and we will be back in person. But bear in mind that even when we are in person, you just don't get up and speak. It's subject to recognition by the chair. So it's the same process, basically. What was your fourth comment about, or respecting the police department? I can tell you quite honestly, this whole board completely and thoroughly does respect the Boxborough Police Department. It is not a question of that. As far as giving you any information about what transpired today, this was an administrative decision. It was a management decision. And that's as far as we're going to go to provide any explanation, because that is the truth of the matter. So moving on, thank you for your comments. I appreciate it very much. Can we move on to Mark White?
Yes, thank you. Where'd it go? I'm dismayed and disappointed to hear that this board has chosen to dismiss our temporary chief of police, a man of unassailable integrity and unquestionable character, with no input from those that you represent. Unless you're saying that his dismissal was for allegations or accusations made against that employee, then the discussion should have been done in open session. I mean, for you to intimate that you can do whatever you want in executive session, or that it was a administrative decision, I think it's perilous for you to think that the town, the people you represent, should be shut out of that process. And I think we have, and I really am uncomfortable with it. I also find it really disconcerting that you made this the first act and deed of an incoming town administrator well before he could have been reasonably expected to fully understand the ramifications of that decision. I mean, talk about putting somebody right in the frying pan. I mean, you could have made it Carter's last act and deed, but you made it Mr. Johns' first act and deed. I mean, I don't know how that's a healing thing. That's just more division. I don't understand it. I don't understand what you're doing. Maybe I never will.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, could I respond to both Mark's questions as well as Father Ted's? Just briefly, So I have over 35 years of top management experience. I have built and led management teams for my entire adult life, from my time as a naval officer, from my time building and running a construction company up until my recent experience in municipal government executive leadership. It was my decision under the administrative authority vested in me through the select board to build and mentor our leadership team in the best interest of the residents of the town of Boxborough. It is my full intention to continue to build and mentor this leadership team to further the best interests of the residents. While I have been here a short time, I have taken the opportunity to meet with every employee I've had the opportunity to do so with, including every one of our department heads. And my termination of Chief DG is not for cause. It's not because of any misconduct, and it's not because he is unqualified. It is because I am building a leadership team that I am comfortable that I can work collaboratively with to further the best interests of the residents. This afternoon, we will bring in a new interim chief, and the new chief, Shushik, will be at a Veterans Day ceremony, and I also will be present. The new interim chief will also be at town meeting, so folks will have an opportunity to meet with him. He is someone who is objective, highly qualified, and coming from outside of this community. And getting back to Father Ted's first comment, we're looking at working on the culture. And so while there was no misgivings, no offenses, and that's why I say it was not a dismissal for cause. It's really in the manner of providing further support to our police and our public safety employees. They have my full support, and I think if you'll give me an opportunity to stand by and watch, you will see that they will have the full support of this administration. And we'll continue to work on the morale and the culture here in town as well as in the police department. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, E. Hohenschel, is that the name? I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing it correctly.
It's Liz Hohenschel.
Oh, Liz, okay.
Yeah, that's okay. And I just want to state at the beginning, I am not a Boxborough resident. Am I allowed to speak at the meeting or not? I am a Boxborough employee.
Yes.
Okay. I would like to speak, excuse me, on behalf of Chief DG this morning. Well, I can recognize it was a hard decision for this board to make. I have had the honor of working with him for the past 6 weeks. I apologize. I'm getting upset. He has absolutely boosted the morale of this department, and no one should think otherwise. The officers in this department, if anyone came through these doors and talked to them, you would be proud of who they are. Get to know them. You started this conversation, like Father said, as far as changing the way you're speaking to each other and evaluating how we can do, which you're right, everyone can do in their own lives, in their own, whether it be their job, their workplace, their town. I encourage that strongly. As someone who started this position here and hopes to make a career in this town, not only here at the police department, but also in the accounting, it's so discouraging to me that someone who has moved this department forward was set back. Sorry. I also want to make sure that there is no denying that his character was never a question. Chief DG is one of the most honest, integral people you will ever meet, that you would have an honor to meet. And while I do support Michael Johns, and I do think he has to take the role he has to take, I just personally do not agree with this decision. And I wouldn't be myself if I didn't say it. And I haven't been around Boxborough long enough. I've only been around 6 weeks. But I do encourage anyone who questions the police department to come down here and meet these gentlemen and these women who put in the time and the effort. I am the daughter of my father was a police officer for 35 years. And I think we need to get back to the level of respect that my dad had when he served that is lacking in this community. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Thanks.
Maria?
So I was going to talk about process, but quite frankly, after hearing the last three speakers, especially Liz, who's been here a short period of time, I guess process doesn't matter. But question for the board, when do we advertise for a new interim chief? Who is this new interim chief? I just went to your Dropbox and I didn't see resumes, nothing. Not like last time where we had a process. You hired, you had people involved. This was DG's out in the morning and we're bringing in someone this afternoon. So process is missing. I don't even, know where this person came from. But I guess after listening to the speakers, the process doesn't matter. What matters is you have to put your personal agendas aside and do what's best for this town. I'm sorry that Mike had to do this 3 days after he started. I was so hopeful that we would be in a good place and start moving forward. And I fear that this has hurt trying to move forward. I'm just so ashamed of the fact that our employees, and Liz isn't the only one, are reduced to tears, that our employees are demoralized again in the police department. I get it. Some of you want to defund the police. I get it. Some of you don't like the police for whatever reason. But it took a long time to get them back to a good place under Chief DG. He was wonderful. And I'm just so disappointed that in this week, when we thought we were moving forward, it feels like we just today took a number of steps back. I can't tell you how utterly disappointed I am with the board and this decision that was made.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Larry, if you have something different, just say, because we've been at this meeting now for 2 hours. I'll let you speak briefly because we can't keep going round and round here. Larry? Larry? Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Can executive session be open if the participants agree to it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, say the new chief or the old chief that we're going to, get out. If he said, hey, I don't care if it's an open session, I'd like people to hear about this. Now, I understand what you're saying. You want to protect people, but if they agree, then can what would normally be a closed session be an open session? And if that hasn't been discussed, I would like the selectmen to discuss that for the future.
First of all, you're talking about a process that requires a hearing when we're talking about for cause. In that particular circumstance, a person would have the option. Normally it's done in executive session. They'd have an option to go to open session. That was not the situation here. This was according to the contract, can be ended with 14 days notice without cause. So that was not even the question. Thank you.
But again, you understand how people feel.
Yes.
That why is it done in secret if there's no issue? So the issue to me is if Mike Johns thinks that this is a great way to run our town, that just firing everybody, this is what we've been doing. This is no change. And I'm saying, I think we ought to, have we done it yet? I mean, why?
Larry,
nobody thinks about.
Excuse me, Larry, I appreciate your comments, but we have to move on. Steve?
She cut him off.
Steve? Hello? Steve?
Yes, hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, it can.
Yes, just very briefly, I just wanted to say, amid all that other, those other comments, that I'm very actually excited to see Michael Johns here. He wasn't my first choice when I saw the papers, but I saw his interview that you guys did and you unanimously selected him. And he was so well prepared, and his breadth of experience is ideal. Certainly not anti-law enforcement. I believe, I wanted to state confidence in this board and in Michael Johns. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I think we've come to the end of this meeting. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second,
Second.
Okay. Wes,
Okay.
Les,
Fox eye.
John,
Markowitz, aye.
and Lepari, aye. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.